Good morning. Greetings to you from all Pullodikans in India. I must congratulate Bapu in organizing the second Pullodikan meeting at New Jersey. My special greetings to Cheduthi, Jekivutty and Susan. Jekivutty is my dearest nephew in the family with whom I had a long intimate association. I am now going to tell you about the story of a village boy who studied um, in a low grade schools and colleges in India, who was able to climb steps by step to come to a reasonably good position under the able guidance and blessings of God, not because of my brilliance. I was born in 1930 as the youngest child in the family. I lost my father when I was 2.5 years old. My six siblings and my 6 brothers and 2 sisters looked after me very well. They enjoyed my company. Since I was lean and thin, unboiled eggs were given to me. I took my mother's breast milk till I was 3 or 4 years old. In order to stop this, some Ayurvedic material called kayam with bad taste was applied on my mother's breast. An attempt was made to improve my health standards. Cod liver oil was given to me both morning and evenings. When the chicken was dressed, my youngest sister used to call me and ask me to open the mouth, and into which she used to put gallbladder of the chicken and asked me to swallow without chewing. I joined the LP school, CMS LP school, half a mile from my residence, following the footsteps of my older brothers. This school was run by CMS missionary for Dalits, and majority of the pupils were Dalit boys. I used to go to the school on account of the shortage of umbrellas. I used to carry banana leaf as a shield from rain. During the onward journey, the banana leaf usually got split, and return journey, I used to get soaked with rainwater. On weekends, my mother used to apply cod liver oil over the entire body except the head, and asked me to wait for 3 to 4 hours to get the oil absorbed. This was applied on weekends. No soap was used in baking because of the misconception soap is injurious to the skin, and because of the cost also. She used a fiber called inja, which was removed from the outer layer of the inja tree. After the bath, the smell of the oil persisted on the next day when I went to school. My school bench mates, those who were sitting in my bench, used to move away from me because of the pungent bad odor of the oil. My name was P.C. Varki, Varki standing for my godfather's name, while PC is our family initials. The boys in the school used to come running towards me and shout, Varki irki, Varmatirki, Abdinirki, Mudigatirki. I got very annoyed with this and I used to try to chase them, but without any success. So when I left the school, primary school, I asked Chako Chayan to get my name changed. The name was changed to George Jacob, George standing for Varki and Jacob standing for Chako. I joined the middle school in Pambari, walking 2 miles. There were no bags available. The books were carried on the shoulder, books bound in a rubber band, and tiffin carrier in the other hand. Four of us used to walk together back from the school to our homes. One day, somebody in the group purchased 21 bananas, ripe bananas, for 1.5 chakrams. 1 chakram is the 28 chakrams make 1 rupee. We enjoyed the treat. So on my initiative, it was decided that on every Friday, we buy in turn bananas and eat. When my turn came, I asked my mother for 1.5 chakrams to buy the bananas. She told me that none of my brothers ever studied in the school buying bananas and eating. Bananas are available in plenty in our house compound along with other fruits. The Friday evening party, therefore, was cancelled. After this middle school, I went to Pudupalli English High School, where my elder brothers Chako Chayan, Kharya Chayan and Kriya Chayan had studied. I used to walk 6 miles in the morning to the school, and Friday evenings I used to return. Since there was no boarding house, I used to stay as a paying guest with a family paying 20 chakrams daily for both accommodation and food. It was on our first day in the school, M.H. Sir, a well-known teacher in Pudupalli and around, came to take classes for us. In the first class, he asked all of us to make self-introduction. When my turn came up, I stood up and said, George Jacob Kotala. Oh, yes, you are one of the wise men from the East. My older brothers had left a very good impression in the school, but I was not qualified to be called a wise man. Because of the absence of watches, clocks, and timepieces at home, I used to measure the length of my shadow with footsteps to know the reasonable time to start towards the school. We never bought any eatables from the while walking back on Friday evenings. Instead, we used to drink from a spring in Vinnimala Kota, a hill on our way. Very nice water, clean, cold water. We had never bought any soft drinks or snacks as the present day generation do. After the high school, I was sent to Calcutta. I was taken to Calcutta by my brothers because in Calcutta, facilities for taking an additional subject was available: mathematics, physics, chemistry, plus biology, qualifying for both engineering and medical college admissions. It worked out very well. I was in the Jadavpur Engineering College for 2 weeks. After that, I got admitted to Calcutta Medical College. The stay in the hostel was very pleasant. The one incident occurred in the college hostel earlier. That was I was admitted to the boarding the hostel, where we were given a dormitory accommodation, one bed and one desk. Third day after I arrived in Calcutta, while I was resting, one tall Sri Lankan Singhali boy who was also living in the dormitory came near me and sprinkled color dye on my clothes. I got very angry with him, got up and gave him a slap on the left side of his cheek. He saw it. He wanted to come and beat me, but meantime, Amachi had sent me a bottle of medicated coconut oil that fell from the desk into the floor during the scuffle. His feet became unsteady and he could not reach me. Other students, other boarders took him away from me. That was the day of Holi festival. I never knew this, that a person has the right to sprinkle colored material on another person on that day without permission. While in Calcutta, I got a letter from my eldest brother, Kurulai Chan, who was running our family and meeting all our expenses. He wrote to me, when your brother studied in Pambadi, you wanted to study in Pudupalli. When they studied in colleges in Kottayam and Chennai, you wanted to study in Calcutta. What is your next destination? Is it London? I knew he wrote because of the financial stress induced by my going to Calcutta for studies. After completion of the MBBS degree in Calcutta, I wanted to work in Vellore, CMC Hospital, Vellore. That was my life's ambition. I wrote to the medical superintendent, Dr. Ashivadam. He replied from Calcutta. He replied, "There's no vacancy." I did not give up. I decided to pursue the matter. I knew the neurologist in Calcutta was familiar with Dr. Jacob Chandy of Vellore. I decided to approach the neurologist for an introductory letter to Dr. Jacob Chandy. I was very timid and hesitant to meet him, but my determination prevailed over my timidity. My ambition prevailed over my timidity. I went to his chamber along with one of my friends. We walked in front of his consulting chamber few times. Each time when we reached the door, my friend used to say, "Get in, get in, get in." But I was hesitant. Then during the next trip, he pushed me into the room, throwing the doors widely open. I landed in front of him. He was surprised he was surprised with it. He asked me what is the matter, and he gave me an introductory letter to Dr. Jacob Chandy. I went to Vellore and met Dr. Jacob Chandy, who said if I was prepared to work on a volunteer basis, he would make sure to get a seat for me there. First, he asked me to meet him every day in the morning for next 3 days and to report back to him about what I did. First day I met Dr. Ashwardhan, who said, "Why did you come over despite of my letter?" I went and met almost all the consultants and professors and lecturers in the hospital, expressing my desire to work, my life's ambition to work in Vellore. The professor of pathology and ENT, both foreigners, were prepared to take me in. On the fourth day, I met Dr. Ashwardhan and asked him. He said, "I know you have been going around the hospital meeting others." He said he would give me a paid job in ENT. I went home soon because of Christian's scheduled wedding. There I got a letter saying that I was offered an unpaid ENT house surgeon's job. Came back to Vellore after the wedding, met Dr. Ashwardhan, and I told him that his letter was different from what he had told me earlier. One was he became very angry. He shouted at me, told me to get out. You Malayalis are famous for this backdoor entry. I came away. Next day, Dr. Chandy arranged a meeting for me with Dr. Carmen, the director of the hospital, who wrote down the entire story. Following day, I got a letter posting order by the principal as a tutor in pathology, the salary of 72 rupees per month. I was very happy. It is my great wish I could get familiar with a lot of doctors over there, and particularly Dr. K.C. Maman and Mrs. K.C. Maman. Dr. K.C. Maman subsequently advised me to go to London for MRCP examination. Mrs. K.C. Maman Kunyunyamma was responsible for persuading baby to marry me. We went over to England by a boat, Oceania, Italian boat, which came to Cochin. On the we had a very smooth sailing through the Suez and through Aden and Suez Canal and reached Naples on the 12th day. The ship was full of Italians who had migrated earlier to Australia. They are having a month's holiday in the ship. We got very good food from the ship, but it was difficult to select the items from menu card because all were Italians. From Naples, we went by train to London. The first British railway station, we disembarked and got a train to UK, London. We reached London in the afternoon. Kunyunyamma and Bapu went over to Newcastle, and I went to the YMCA, the secretary, students YMCA. The secretary gave me a room. I had an early dinner, went to the room, and Amati had put two jaggery balls in my bag, shakkara unda. I ate one of them and slept off. At 12 midnight, I saw the hostel secretary and few others in my room. They asked me what's the matter. I said, um, I am okay. He told me why I didn't respond to the knock in the door. I said I was probably sleeping deeply. I knew there was subsequently I knew there was another roommate who came late and he could not get into my room because I was not opening the room. So secretary came with a duplicate key and opened, and that was my first night in London. Since we reached London in summer, it was easy to get locum tenens job. I first had a job in Ipswich. Next one was in a large geriatric hospital where I got excellent quarters. I could sit and study there with very little work. I went to Edinburgh, passed MRCP examination. I got a job in Newmarket Hospital near Cambridge, where I met a senior consultant, very good academician. He was very pleased with me. He told me at the end of my posting, George, you apply only for top jobs, and I see that you get into one. I applied for a job in Bristol Royal Infirmary. It was a teaching job. As I entered the waiting room, I found 12 English boys sitting there, and I was sure that I was not going to get the post. However, after the interview, I was called in. They congratulated me. My boss took me to the hospital and gave me tea, saying that George have English tea. One of the members of the board was a surgeon who had been to Vellore earlier, but not during my tenure over there. My consultant, Dr. Barrett, told me that there was a glorious report about me from a consultant in Newmarket. He wrote never before he had seen an overseas boy who could do better work than our own boys. On the second day of my appointment at Bristol, I was taken to the operating theatre where Dr. Barrett and I stood for the entire period of the surgery. Towards the end of surgery, the patient's heart was beating irregularly. The surgeon who was operating in the case and others in the theater were all concerned because it was not controlled by medication. So my boss, Dr. Barrett, asked me, what is your opinion? I told him that a tube was placed into the heart by the surgeon between the inner and outer layer, and the tube was probably touching the heart muscle, producing irritability and irregular heart rhythm.